Well, hello, listeners. We are broadcasting around the globe tonight. Thank you for tuning into the program. It's going to be one for the history books, folks. All I can say is buckle up. My amazing guest co-host tonight is the amazing one and only Craig Sawman Sawyer, native Texan, U.S. Marine and Navy SEAL sniper, DevGru SEAL Team 6, Federal Air Marshal, counter-poaching team leader, African counter-poaching operations. Animal Planet had that special Battleground Rhino Wars, you remember that, featured on numerous military and firearms TV shows like Top Shot, Gunny Times, Sniper Deadliest Missions, Deadliest Tech Spec Ops, founder of Vets for Child Rescue. Their mission? To expose the horrors of child trafficking. And his film Contraland is going to be on Netflix this summer. And hey, how about this? Craig is currently creating the best combat rifle ever made. I'm sure the Liberals will be excited about that. I asked the Sawman to co-pilot with me today because we're excited. We're joined by a true legend. He really needs no introduction. The Motor City madman himself, Ted Nugent. He is the Rosa Parks of electric guitar. So many titles, so many awards, accolades, too many to list. Longtime NRA board member, #1 best-selling author many times over. This nation's most vociferous proponent of the Constitution. His award-winning Spirit of the Wild TV show celebrates its 500th episode. Crazy. This is his 55th year of killer rock and roll touring insanity, approaching 7,000 concerts. And when he's not tearing it up with his sweet battle cry of freedom or spending the day with hero warriors of the U.S. military or mentoring kids, he's enduring bone-chilling temperatures deep in Nugent hinterland with the mystical flight of the gold-tip arrows and a Matthews triax. He is the reigning undisputed big butt-killing bow hunter and all-around butt kicker of the highest order. And if you're lost in the political forest of confusion, Uncle Ted is here to lead you out of the wilderness. The legendary Ted Nugent. Uncle Ted, welcome to the program, sir. It is a pleasure.
Sheila, hallelujah, and Happy New Year, and Sawman, Semper Fi, Godspeed, aim small, miss small. It's my honor to be with you all here. I'm bringing the truth, logic, and common sense of we the people to a very friendly environment. Let the campfire roar.
Congrats on your 70th deer season, wink, wink, Ted.
How about that, huh? Who's going to stop me, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, let's just get right into it. Craig, why don't you lead us off here at Sawman?
Ted, I had the pleasure of meeting you at SHOT Show a few years back, and people asked me, hey, what's it like to meet Uncle Ted and have a conversation with him? And I stop them right there. I say, first of all, folks, you don't have a conversation with Uncle Ted. Rather, you merely brace yourself and attempt to withstand the belt-fed, full-auto barrage of freedom and liberty he has pre-chambered and unrelentingly unleashes with deafening ferocity. By the time Uncle Ted ceases fire, your hair will be standing at attention. So,
Greg, are you saying I'm a passionate son of a bitch? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I like what you're about. We're tracking on the same freedom and liberties there. So I appreciate your efforts, and I watch what the opposition's doing to shoot you down, and they say the same things about me. So the truth is, the sunlight's coming out right now, and I think we're in a time of positive change for this country. So I celebrate it. It's kind of strange to watch the increasing desperation of the opposition of freedom and liberty, but it's a necessary and beautiful chain of events.
Yeah, it's a soul-cleansing time, and Sheila, God bless you for being there and facilitating the truth and logic and common sense that makes America the only place worth living in the world, quite honestly, where freedom and liberty defines the American dream and the American spirit. And certainly, Craig, those of us in the asset column of America know painfully that freedom is not free, so we really do dedicate ourselves every day to pay back in any way we possibly can come up with for the heroes of the U.S. military and their families, and nowadays just as much law enforcement and the first responders, because the liberals and the Democrats, for the most part, and the Sheila Zilinsky gang, they really do hate everything about Americans' independence and rugged individualism and self-sufficiency and what is outlined, the self-evident truth outlined in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So this is an important time for those of us that know better to always stand up loud and proud every day of our lives to fight for these basics of the most unique and unprecedented experiment in self-government in the history of the world. So I'm proud to stand with both of you here today.
A lot of people tell me that they regret not serving in the military, but what I come right back with is, hey, look, there are a lot of ways to fight for your country. And Ted, you're certainly doing that. You're doing everything for your country you know how to do. And there are a lot of people doing great things. Many of the folks that you just listed, our first responders, we're working with law enforcement now, the true white hats. Some of these sheriffs and district attorneys are all about beating back these child predators and putting them away and taking them off the streets. And it's a shame that the media doesn't cover that more, the true white hats and the positive, but it doesn't seem to match their anti-American agenda, so it doesn't get the exposure. But, man, we appreciate what you're doing because you're out there saying it loud and proud.
Well, thank you, and Sheila, that's why we thank you so much, because truth, logic, and common sense has to have a voice, and there's a whole bunch of us out there. But when I speak, I know I'm not just speaking for my family or myself. I'm a gregarious guy, and I've been touring. I will do my 6,680th concert sometime in June this year, and I will wrap it up with somewhere around 6,600, and actually be about 6,700. So I really understand the pulse of working hard, playing hard America. I hang with these people around both literal and figurative hunting campfires around the nation, and the goodwill and the decency and the positive spirit and energy and the constitutional celebration and the realization that we, the people, must participate. We must engage to keep constitutional accountability from our elected employees. It's not a Ted Nugent weird thing. Just Sheila and Craig and I aren't the only ones that believe in that. It is a huge swath of humanity that finally rose up in November of 2016 and voted in a status quo destroyer like Donald Trump, and everybody has to admit it's a status quo of the corruption, the criminality, and the abuse of power, and the gun-running president, the gun-running attorney general, and the abandonment of our people in Benghazi, and so many examples of just vicious, criminal, oath-violating corruption in our government. We're aware of that, and just because the fake news media won't report on it doesn't mean that we're not aware of it. So thank you, Sheila, for putting that spotlight on the cockroaches and the spotlight on the freedom and the responsibility of we the people. And I think the prognosis is better than I've seen in my 70 years.
Yeah, well said. Well, the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, Ted, this is a bulwark against tyranny. That's its fundamental purpose. That's not open for debate. This Caligula-level craziness thermometer couldn't go any higher. Lying, fake news, dirtbag, zombie American-hating media. I mean, just the mindless minions are soullessly grazing in the vapor chemtrail of evil. Our founders would have put an end to this a long time ago. And who sticks his head out, Ted? Well, former Weasel-in-Chief Barack Obama, the deep state ringleader, pops his head out on social media, make demands after this recent mass shooting in Florida. Can you spell sheep's knees genuflecting at the Zilinsky altar, Ted?
Well, it's really glaring, but I got to tell you, Sheila, as painful it is to see the fake news and the orchestrated, manipulated, lying media and what you see on CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS, and it tests the soul every day because you know they're lying. And when you listen to the Democrats and listen to what they speak, just listen and watch Nancy Pelosi try to form a syllable. Watch Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein and Maxine Waters struggle to deliver a coherent sentence. Everything they stand for, not just the words are offensive, but the way they deliver them. They're angry and hateful. And it can be summarized in so many instances where Dianne Feinstein has admitted that she would take away every gun from American families if she could. Those are her words. Nancy Pelosi, this freak, and I hate to be disrespectful, but I am compelled to be honest. When a woman will look at her employers on the floor of the Congress and say, you don't need to read this document, you need to sign it to find out what's in it, if that's not treasonous, if that's not a constitutional oath violation, then I don't know what is. So we the people, we rose up in November of 16, and we made a statement that the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule, common sense, and goodwill and decency still matter. And I get this just glowing everywhere I go, from the local coffee shop to the grain mill to the sporting goods store to the dentist office. Everywhere I go, every imaginable ethnicity, color, creed, walk of life, every imaginable human being comes up to me on the street and thanks me for speaking truth and logic and fighting for the Constitution and Bill of Rights. It's not a Ted Nugent thing. It is a we the people thing. If you are educated, aware of history, and aware of the tyrannical impulses of our fellow man that we saw, we witnessed in our own government over the last few years. So once again, with Donald Trump in office and his entire administration, Sheila, Craig, the entire Donald Trump administration is the exact same people that you would find around a Ted Nugent campfire, where they know that wildlife has to be balanced. They know that we, the people, own the wildlife. They know that we have a God-given individual right to keep and bear arms. And that only means keep. It's mine. You can't have it. Bear means I got a couple on me right now and they're loaded. It can't mean anything else. And that is growing in a relativity today that I've never seen in my 70 years. And I tell you, if I was dangerous last year, I'm even more dangerous this year because my confidence cup runneth over.
One thing we've got going for us, Ted, that I think is really a natural course of action is the American people inherently despise a hypocrite. And they see people like Feinstein demanding that we be disarmed while she is surrounded by an armed security detail. And that's detestable to them, people on both sides of the aisle. And I think that the glaring level of hypocrisy that they demonstrate is backfiring on them. I think that's working against them, even though they've got academia on their side, big Hollywood, the mainstream news media, and all the crooked politicians in D.C. all chanting the same false rhetoric and propaganda against the United States and against our Constitution. The American people still see that glaring hypocrisy. And I think that's what's turning people, and they're starting to see through it and go, wait a minute, on what planet is it okay that you dictate to me that I be defenseless? Well, you're surrounded with an armed security detail. That doesn't ring true in anybody's mind. So I think the pendulum's swinging back toward the middle.
Well stated. Amen. Ditto, ditto, ditto. But Sheila and Craig, stop and think for a minute that there's two angles to the First Amendment. Number one, in a world of honesty and logic and admitting history and relating to the evidence to support what we speak and have the right to speak, more important than you and my speaking and sharing logic and common sense and relating historical evidence to support what we stand for, more important than that freedom of speech is the freedom of speech that Michael Moore and Nancy Pelosi and Loretta Lynch and Dianne Feinstein and all these leftists have. I am so happy when I see a Michael Moore speak. I am so happy when I watch Nancy Pelosi struggle to form a sentence. Because if you and I could go and sit at the lap of God and say, God, could you please create a really strange being, create really an offensive person that really offends good people of honesty and integrity and logic, create a really nasty person to counter what I believe in. God has already done that. He created Michael Moore to make sure that what you and I makes more sense than ever, because if Michael Moore says it, or if Nancy Pelosi's squawking and she's furrowing her brow and she's talking like the Wicked Witch of the West, when they talk like that, that has more impact supporting what we believe in, truth, logic, and common sense, Constitutional Bill of Rights, self-evident truth. When the left speaks, it actually buoys our stand even better than we can. Because when you have a guy like Michael Moore countering what you say, it makes sensible people go, oh my God, if Michael Moore is against Ted Nugent, then I'm with Ted Nugent. So freedom of speech comes in many different ways, and I really, really am happy that the other side is so stupid that they don't see when they open their mouth, they offend good families everywhere.
Hear, hear. Well, the whole plethora of Hollywood celebs calling for stronger gun laws. You know, you mentioned some ilk, Ted. I mean, you look at Kathy Griffin, LeBron James. Wait, we're going to get gun advice from the likes of Rosie. I can't wait to work out O'Donnell. Or how about the other poster boy for health, this bloated carcass Michael Moore, who thinks that personal hygiene is optional. These insufferable windbags, Ted, have something to say about how we live. And it's really good these brain-dead celebrity hirelings, they can stop their rape-fest extravaganza long enough to tell us how we shouldn't be able to defend ourselves. Oh, yeah, you don't need 30 rounds to hunt. Yeah, the Second Amendment isn't in case the deer turn against us, Ted.
Isn't that amazing? But that's exactly what I'm talking about, Sheila. Their insanity that they're not afraid to espouse, it furthers our agenda of goodwill and decency, because their stand is so bizarre. So Clinton can meet with Lynch on the tarmac during a Hillary investigation, and we the people are too stupid to see what's going on. Really? So we have the heroes of the military armed and ready to go to save our people in Benghazi after multiple warnings of inadequate security. They're ready to go save Americans, and our president and Secretary of State tells them to not save our American citizens, and then orchestrate a proven lie through Rice and their entire gang that it was about a video, and they think that we don't see this. This is beautiful. This is literally beautiful. And there's a variation of that about doing something down my throat and telling me it's lemonade, but we won't go there right now because everybody knows exactly what the hell I'm talking about. So all I can say to the left is, carry on. Go ahead. Get more microphones, more spotlights. Keep spewing your insanity. You're doing my job for me, you goofballs.
Yeah. Well, Ted, that Benghazi story hits close to home here because I was actually working that contract. All those guys are my teammates and friends, Chris Pirano and the group, and we need justice for what happened there.
Mark is a great friend of mine, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, look, I question the mental health qualification of some of these people like Pelosi. I know for a fact, just watching and listening to her try to speak, she could not pass the psych exam of any professional job I've had in my adult lifetime. How on earth is she dictating policy to us? That's insane right there, is having somebody that's insane speak for everyone else.
Well, it's catching up with them. And once again, I never want to muzzle the enemy. I want them to speak because they represent such rot, such anti-American, anti-freedom, anti-Constitution, anti-we the people vile, that I want them to spew it at every opportunity, because the backfire manifested itself in November of 2016, and we the people have had enough with the status quo entrenched political gang out there, and Donald Trump, man, came riding in on one pissed-off stallion, whipping a status quo crushing crowbar, and that was right out of the Ted Nugent school of we the people. And I got to tell you, Sheila and Craig and everybody listening, Donald Trump, the great President Donald Trump, the status quo crushing we the people President Donald Trump, made it perfectly clear to my beautiful wife Shemaine and I in the Oval Office when he invited us to the White House that the reason he invited us to the White House is because we represent real we the people American families who make sacrifice, take risk, and work our asses raw to be in the asset column. We are the good people of America, and the Motor City Madman, even after writing Wang Dang Sweet Poontang, represents the best people in America. And that drives the media, academia, Hollywood, and all the left berserk. Last night, Jimmy Kimmel went on a tirade attacking me, showing one of my recent tweets, and my recent tweet was beautiful. He put it up there, and I couldn't have been more proud of it, and he was attacking it, condemning it. Meanwhile, I stand 100% behind it, and I'll read it for you right now. I wrote to tens of millions of people, quote, "If we truly desire to save innocent lives, we must focus on glaring warning signs, not ubiquitous, uncontrollable hardware." He tried to find fault with that, and I'm going, yeah. I didn't watch it, but all my buddies contacted me, and he was so stupid that he put my quote up there that made perfect sense, and then he attacked it. So, see, the other side is so stupid. They are, I got to tell you, I will allegedly, to keep our legal status here, Sheila, I believe everybody on the left is smoking dope. They talk like they're comfortably numb, which actually is uncomfortably dumb. They're talking such anti-logic, such stupidity. They literally equate heroes of law enforcement and military as armed guards in a school as to be representing more dangerous guns on campus. Oh, yeah. So we're equating trained professionals who will safeguard our children in the same light as mass murderers. They say it, and they don't even flinch. We couldn't have wrote that script better for them.
Here's my observation of it, Uncle Ted. I'll call you Uncle Ted because all my buddies call you Uncle Ted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
These people's susceptibility to the Marxist socialist agenda, I think Tucker Carlson said it best recently. He said that most of these people hate their fathers. It comes from,
yes.
And this is the sad part, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but they have been traumatized, and it's a horrific thing, and that's part of the reason I started Veterans for Child Rescue, is to prevent this. But so many of these young little souls have been tormented, raped, and had their little psyches shattered, and they've been psychologically traumatized by adults who have done who knows what to them, and they hate the world. And they hate the world because of what was done to them, and they don't bother to learn history or the facts or to see the good from the bad. They're pissed off at everything, and they want change, even if it means driving the ship straight into the rocks.
I think that's an accurate observation. They've lost their sense of direction. They literally think 1 and 1 equals 3 because they stubbed their toe on the number 2 at some point in life. And we have to get self-evident truth. And it's not a Ted Nugent hunch. I don't have a hunch that I have the right to keep and bear arms. I don't have a hunch that I might have the freedom of speech. I don't have a hunch that I can have security from an oppressive government in the Fourth Amendment. I don't have a hunch that I can choose my own religion or choose to not have a religion. I don't have a hunch on any of the Bill of Rights. I know they are self-evident truth-based, and it drives the left batty because they can't control us as long as we adhere to those. So I got to tell you, Sheila, I salute you, and Craig, God bless you. We're talking about warriors for freedom and liberty, but let's make a moment right now, the incredible light that is shined by real warriors in this culture war, like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Greg Gutfeld and Laura Ingraham and Mark Davis here in Texas and Mark Levin and Joe Pag. So many people in the media really fight and jeopardize their own careers by standing up for truth, logic, and common sense. And there's many out there. I'm not listing all of them. Mike Broomhead in Phoenix. I could list hundreds and hundreds, but thank God those warriors are out there. Sheila, you, Craig, what you represent, there are millions and millions of us, and we must always salute them, and we must always make sure that they know we have their back, and that we, the people, will eventually discard this self-inflicted curse of apathy and show that what we did in November of 2016, we should do every election and exercise the most important weapon in the world, and that is the American, we the people, vote. We have got to vote, and the most important weapon that we the people, families of America for freedom, can execute is to be members of the National Rifle Association. This is important stuff, and it's not talked about often enough.
No, you got that right. It sure isn't. Well, listen, Ted, switching gears a little bit here, you've got something incredible upcoming at 2018 this summer. The Music Made Me Do It. Talk a little bit about that and give us the lowdown on what the Motor City Madman's got on his hopper coming up here in 2018.
Well, my American dream is on fire, baby. I mean, I'm about to celebrate my 56th or 57th year of rock and roll rhythm and blues outrage on the roads all across America with the greatest crew and the greatest team, Linda Peterson and Doug Banker, and my band, Jason Hartless on drums and Greg Smith on the bass guitar. My God almighty, for a 69-year-old old Motor City dirtball like me, and to have the greatest tour of my life, this is about a gravity-defying phenomenon I shall ever witness. But the energy and the piss and vinegar and the spirit and the attitude of my audiences last year literally eclipsed every year prior, which I know you think I'm a liar because that's impossible, but we actually pulled it off. And based on what I'm witnessing right now from my fellow music lovers in the studio, we're recording a brand new record right now called The Music Made Me Do It, because the music made me do it. And the music is so intense. It's like somebody got a team of James Brown and Wilson Pickett and Sam and Dave and the Motown Funk Brothers and all the greatest throttling rockers in the history of the world. And when we get in the studio and rehearse these new songs, where you're going to run to get away from yourself and uncomfortably dumb and cocked, locked, and ready to rock, Doc the Glock. I mean, the songs have a life of their own. The people that love grinding rhythm and blues, defiant, uppity, outrageous, uninhibited music, they love this stuff. I love this stuff like I'm a 10-year-old garage band Amboy Duke in Detroit back in 1958. After 70 years of being clean and sober, all my gifts from God work really good. All my 6'2", 220 pounds of stuff, they all work really me really good, fueled by venison and mallard flesh. So I have a real fiery passion. Have you guys noticed that I have a really fiery passion about my gift of life? And so I live it to the fullest every day. I want to thank everybody who comes on my Ted Nugent Facebook, tens of millions of hard-working, hard-rocking Americans that live truth, logic, and common sense. You know, there's only one thing more dangerous than a sow grizzly with cubs close by, and that's Ted Nugent with more confidence. And I have so much confidence right now that everything I do is so damn cool, it's stupid. So I'm having the time of my life, new music. I had the greatest hunting season. I had my 14th grandchild last month. The Nugent family is alive and well. We take good care of ourselves. Clean and sober is the most important part. Eating intelligently, good quality food in good sensible amounts, and active life. The American dream is not a mystery if you put your heart and soul into everything you do, and it's everywhere around me. Everybody in my life, my kids, my grandkids, my brothers, my sisters, my band, my crew, everybody. Spirit of the Wild, #1 show on Outdoor Channel for 27 years. Ted Nugent Camp for Kids charity, all volunteer nonprofit Ted Nugent Camp for Kids charity. 16,000 young Americans recruited with hunter safety, aim small, miss small, marksmanship, and safe gun handling. Are you kidding me? I can hardly get my halo through the door jamb.
I'm standing at attention right now.
I've got a spiritual erection and I have a permit.
Only Ted Nugent, folks. Only Ted Nugent can come up with these. I love it.
The colorful vernacular of one Ted Nugent. Well, Ted, listen, in your magazine, I saw these incredible pictures with your son, Toby. Boy, he's rivaling the old man, isn't he? He's a chip off the old block. What a good looking, you got a gorgeous family. Wow, what a beautiful bunch of kids. You are truly blessed, sir.
Oh, I'll tell you, all my kids, Sheila, Craig, they are such great Americans. They're all healthy, and they got a great attitude and a great spirit and incredible work ethic, and they give, and they're funny and cocky. They have a bit of an attitude. Who would have thought? I'm so proud of my family, and my wife, Shemaine, is just the goddess. What she does every day with the charity work. We work with a number of military and law enforcement charities out there, and every imaginable children charity. And the reason I'm raising that flag is because it's an indication that every time a special needs kid needs help or a terminally ill kid needs something special, Americans give and give and give and give. And OperationFinallyHome.org, OperationFinallyHome.org, building beautiful homes at no charge for the heroes of the military and their families. So when you're surrounded by people who really care and really give and make sacrifice, you get a great spirit and a great attitude, and that's what I owe my quality of life to, is the quality of people that I hang around with, including you guys, Sheila and Craig. Thank you for that.
Well, you know what, Ted? Nobody does more charity work than you. What you do for the veterans, I mean, we all just take our hats off to you, sir. The only thing that was missing, hey, I suffered through these salacious miscreant at this Trump bashing fest I called the Grammys. The liberal lackeys, boy, they were in full swing. But you know what? It was really weird because I did not see you win a Grammy again, Ted. What's up with that?
My music has too much soul. I think it's illegal in Hollywood now.
I'll tell you what, Ted, now is not the time to let our foot off the gas. It's full throttle. We've got to get even more grit, more guts. Now more than ever, it's not time to back off, back up, or back down, is it, Ted?
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Sheila. Never, never back down, never give up, never surrender. This is a culture war. It's not a culture argument. It's not a culture discussion. It is a culture war where the left and the liberals and most Democrats are against the American dream. They are against the Constitution. They are against freedom and liberty. We have to stand strong. We have to identify defiant people like President Donald Trump and come up these midterm elections. We better keep the Republicans going and then keep the heat on the Republicans so that we get rid of the rhinos and we have constitutional accountability from our elected employees. And any American that doesn't flex that vote, that weapon of the vote, there's a flag-draped coffin somewhere that you owe it to. And and that's what drives my quality of life every day.
I couldn't agree more with that. Bill Whittle spoke at an event, Freedom Rally, I was recently, and he talked about it is a culture war. They're attacking our culture. They're not attacking us from the front with tanks and rifles the way we expected. They're attacking our culture, and too many Americans don't recognize that. And the attack, it's gotten much further than we recognize. And it's time we shake off the stupor and realize that's the fight. And we can each do something to respond to that and fight back in our own way.
Absolutely. Activism, we the people, the experiment in self-government demands that we are activists, they are participants. So I see more and more of that. So Sheila, thank you, and I'm honored to share this electric campfire with you. And Craig, Semper Fi, God bless you, man. Aim small, miss small, trample the weak, hurdle the dead, give them hell. And I'm here for you always.
Aw, thank you, Ted. Well, quick story. I put a quick call out to all my Twitter followers to just hammer, go beast mode on this little bumbling buffoon hatchet man for the New World Order, stooge Jimmy Kimmel, after his disgusting hit piece on you. We all lit up his Twitter like the 4th of July, and Jimmy Kimmel took the video down. So, one for the deplorables, Ted.
God bless you, babe. That's why you're my girl.
Thank you so much for coming on the program. I know you got to run. Thanks again, Ted. God bless you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Godspeed. God bless America.
Thank you so much, Sheila. It was a privilege. And it wasn't Uncle Ted a hoot.
He was awesome. I mean, he loves his country. Craig, you love your country. We love you. Thank you so much, Craig, for co-piloting with me today. You're coming back tomorrow, and I can't wait because, folks, you have to pay attention to tomorrow's show because Craig's going to share some things that you've never heard, and it is going to be phenomenal. He's going to share some personal stuff, give us a sneak peek at Contraland. Oh, it's a show that you don't want to miss. And I'll tell you, there's nothing better that'll make the liberals' heads explode than a show with two incredibly patriotic warriors, the Sawman and the Motorman. You don't get better than that. Thanks for coming on, Craig. God bless you.
Thank you. It was an honor for me to be on, and I really enjoyed the whole thing.
It was so good. I really enjoyed it, too. Well, folks, that was Craig Sawman Sawyer. What an incredible guy. It's vetsforchildrescue.org. That's vets, the number 4, childrescue.org. It is also linked there in the description below, as well as a bunch of information on Uncle Ted, some of those tour dates, some awesome stuff that you really need to check out. He has got a New Year's bash coming up at the end of this year. Of course, the Music Made Me Do It tour and so much more. Ted is also going to be at the Iowa Speedway July 7th. That race is going to be awesome, and Ted will be performing at, again, the Iowa Speedway. So much on his schedule, you need to check it out. That is, again, tednugent.com. Don't miss tomorrow's show. It is going to be fantastic. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Very easy to find. Just go to sheila.media. That's right, www.sheila.media. And last but not least, a salute to all you meat-eating, red-blooded hunters out there. Hey, I come from a long line of awesome hunters. And speaking of that, I want to give a shout-out to an incredible hunter. It is my Uncle Lance Patterson. Lance and Lori, a big shout-out to you guys. And also a shout-out to all the veterans. We love you. Thank you for your service, and God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Good night, and God bless.